The 1970s were an incredible decade for automobiles. Time of bold designs, powerful V8s, and true automotive character. But while some cars from that era became legends, others faded into obscurity. Today, we're diving into 12 classic cars from the 70s that most people have completely forgotten about. Buckle up, because some of these might just surprise you. 1. 1971 AMC Matador, the muscle sedan that never took off. AMC, American Motors Corporation, was known for making quirky and unique cars, and the Matador was no exception. It was designed to compete with popular sedans like the Chevy Impala and Ford Torino, but AMC's limited resources meant it never really stood a chance. Despite its bold styling and optional V8 engine, the Matador struggled in sales. Most people saw it as an awkward-looking alternative to more established muscle sedans. The Matador Coupe, which came out in 1974, looked even stranger, almost like a rejected Batmobile. Even though the Matador had a strong police fleet presence, it never gained mainstream popularity. 2. 1973 Mercury Montego GT, a forgotten muscle coupe. The Mercury Montego GT was meant to be a performance-oriented version of the Montego, Mercury's mid-size car. It had a big block V8, aggressive styling, and sporty handling, but it was overshadowed by its Ford cousin, the Gran Torino. The problem? The Montego GT looked too much like a regular Montego, and buyers didn't see it as a true muscle car. Today, very few people even remember this car existed, making it one of the most overlooked muscle cars of the 1970s. 3. 1975 Chevrolet Cosworth Vega, the Chevy that could have been great. In the mid-70s, Chevrolet tried to inject some excitement into its compact Vega by collaborating with Cosworth, a British engine developer famous for Formula One racing. The result was the Cosworth Vega, a limited edition Vega with a high-revving DOHC engine and sportier suspension. Sounds great, right? The problem was that it was too little, too late. By the time the Cosworth Vega arrived in 1975, the Vega's terrible reputation for reliability had already scared away buyers. Even though the Cosworth version was much better, nobody wanted to take the risk. 4. 1976 Dodge Aspen R/T, a muscle car in disguise. The Dodge Aspen R/T was Chrysler's attempt to keep the muscle car spirit alive during the mid-1970s. With a V8 under the hood, sporty styling, and a reputation for solid performance, it should have been a hit. But there was just one problem: it was still an Aspen. The Aspen was seen as a boring economy car, and the R/T package wasn't enough to change that perception. Plus, Chrysler's quality control in the 70s was awful, and Aspens were notorious for rust, mechanical failures, and electrical issues. 5. 1970 Opel GT, Germany's mini Corvette that America forgot. The Opel GT was Germany's answer to the Chevrolet Corvette, with sleek styling, hidden headlights, and a compact sports car feel. It was a lightweight coupe with a 1.9 liters inline-4 engine, making it more about agility than raw power. It was actually sold in the US through Buick dealerships, and while it did gain some popularity, it was never quite able to compete with the dominant American muscle cars. By the mid-70s, with rising safety and emissions regulations, the Opel GT faded away. 6. 1974 Bricklin SV-1, the Canadian supercar that failed. You probably haven't heard of the Bricklin SV-1, but it was supposed to be Canada's answer to the Corvette. With gull-wing doors, a sleek fiberglass body, and a focus on safety, hence the name SV-1, or Safety Vehicle 1. The Bricklin was an ambitious project. However, production was plagued by engineering issues, quality control problems, and financial struggles. The car was heavy, underpowered, and expensive, which led to its downfall. Only about 3,000 units were ever made before Bricklin shut down in 1976. 7. 1978 Ford Fairmont Futura, a forgotten personal coupe. Ford's Fairmont Futura was designed to be a sportier version of the basic Fairmont sedan, but let's be honest, it was never truly sporty. With a boxy design, an optional V8, and a slightly more aggressive look, it was positioned as a budget-friendly alternative to the Mustang or Thunderbird. The styling was uninspired, and it lacked the excitement of Ford's other performance models. Most people just ignored it and bought more exciting cars instead. 8. 1977 Plymouth Volare Roadrunner, a legendary name on the wrong car. The Plymouth Roadrunner was a legendary muscle car of the late 60s and early 70s. But by the late 70s, Plymouth had slapped the Roadrunner name on the Volare, a compact car designed for fuel efficiency rather than performance. Sure, the Volare Roadrunner had some muscle car looks, but its performance was underwhelming. The optional 360 V8 made decent power, but it was held back by emissions regulations and a weak suspension. 9. 1971 Toyota Crown, the forgotten Japanese luxury sedan. Toyota's Crown was a luxurious, high-end sedan that was actually sold in the US before the Lexus brand even existed. It was comfortable, well-built, and aimed at competing with European luxury cars. So, why did it disappear? Americans just weren't interested in a premium Toyota at the time. Buyers preferred Cadillacs, Lincolns, and BMWs, so the Crown faded from the market. 10. 1970 Jensen Interceptor, the British muscle car nobody remembers. The Jensen Interceptor was Britain's attempt at building an American-style muscle car, and it was actually pretty cool. It had a big Chrysler V8, an elegant design, and even an all-wheel drive version called the FF, which was way ahead of its time. But Jensen was a small company with limited production capacity, and reliability issues hurt its reputation. 11. 1973 Mazda RX-4, the forgotten rotary rocket. Everyone remembers the Mazda RX-7, but few remember the RX-4, a stylish coupe that also had a rotary engine. It was a fun-to-drive car with a lightweight body and high-revving rotary power, but it never caught on like its successor. One big reason: the 1973 oil crisis made fuel-hungry rotary engines unattractive. 12. 1976 Lancia Scorpion, the Italian sports car that America forgot. Lancia's Scorpion was a stylish, mid-engine sports car that was sold in the US as a more affordable alternative to Ferrari and Lamborghini. It had a sleek design, pop-up headlights, and a fun driving experience. So why is it forgotten? Well, Lancia had to detune the engine to meet US emission standards, which meant the Scorpion was slower than it looked. Plus, Lancia's reliability issues made it an expensive headache for owners. The 1970s produced some incredible cars, but many of them have been lost in time. Whether it was due to bad marketing, poor reliability, or just bad luck, these 12 cars have been largely forgotten, but they still deserve a place in automotive history. Which of these forgotten classics surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments.